Caitlin Clark's name was supposed to be the beginning of a new era in women's basketball. When she got drafted as the #1 overall pick by the Indiana Fever, the energy shifted, fans were electric, tickets were selling out, and jersey sales were breaking records. It felt like the WNBA had just leveled up overnight. But then a number came out, a single detail buried in her rookie contract that flipped the celebration into silence. Because what Caitlin just revealed wasn't about drama, attitude, or scandal. It was a raw, honest truth about how much the league she's helping carry is actually paying her. And when fans heard the number, jaws dropped. Not just fans, players, coaches, executives, everyone hit pause. This wasn't a leak, it wasn't speculation. It came straight from Caitlin herself. And once she said it, the entire basketball world was forced to confront something they'd been ignoring for far too long. But here's the kicker, that shocking figure, that's just part of the story. Because tucked deep inside her contract was a clause so unexpected, even veteran sports analysts were left stunned. Let's break down exactly what Caitlin exposed, how the league responded, and why this could be the moment that changes everything. Before she ever stepped onto a WNBA court, Caitlin Clark had already become a phenomenon. She wasn't just a college athlete, she was the college athlete, leading the NCAA in scoring, shattering long-standing records, and turning every Iowa Hawkeyes game into must-watch television. Her range, ridiculous; her court vision, next level; her swagger, unmatched. She didn't just play, she dominated. And as her legend grew, so did the crowds. Sold-out arenas, national headlines, viral highlights every single week. By the time draft night rolled around, no one was asking if she'd go #1. The only question was what kind of impact she'd have the moment she arrived. And from day one with the Indiana Fever, that impact was massive. Ticket sales soared, viewership spiked. The WNBA's social media saw a surge like never before. Caitlin wasn't just joining the leg, she was carrying it into a new era, and everyone assumed she'd be paid like it. But that's when reality hit, and not just for her but for everyone watching. Because behind the hype, behind the headlines, the truth about Caitlin's contract was about to be revealed. When the details of Caitlin Clark's rookie contract surfaced, people didn't believe it at first. Not because it was confusing, but because it sounded impossible. Caitlin, the #1 overall pick, the face of a rising WNBA, was set to make just $76,535 in her first season. And over 4 years, her entire rookie contract is worth about $338,000. Not per year, that's the total. Let that sink in. That's less than what some NBA bench players make in one game. That's less than what some assistant coaches are earning. And yet Caitlin, who's packing arenas, boosting league revenue, and drawing millions of new fans, is getting paid like a summer intern. Still, she didn't hold back when asked about it. In an interview, Caitlin looked straight at the camera and said, "I knew coming into the league what the numbers were, I knew what the salary structure looked like, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it." That sentence, it cracked the silence wide open. Because she wasn't angry, she wasn't emotional. She was calm, direct, and honest. And that made it hit even harder. She wasn't just talking about herself, she was pulling the curtain back on the system. And when the league heard it, they didn't clap back, they froze. Even some people inside the Fever organization were reportedly stunned, not because she said anything wrong, but because no rookie had ever dared to say it out loud. But Caitlin did, and the reaction was just beginning. The moment Caitlin's interview dropped, the internet exploded. Fans couldn't believe the numbers. They weren't just surprised, they were furious. One fan wrote, "How can you market her like LeBron and pay her like a minor leaguer?" Another said, "If the WNBA wants to grow, it has to act like it wants to grow." It wasn't just casual viewers either. WNBA veterans, sports analysts, and even NBA stars started weighing in. Kevin Durant, who's always backed women's sports, reposted a clip of Caitlin's interview with just one word: respect. And that single word said more than any press release ever could. Inside the league, things were getting tense. The Indiana Fever hadn't expected this kind of honesty from their rookie, but behind closed doors, insiders say they were impressed. Caitlin hadn't ranted, she hadn't pointed fingers. She just told the truth calmly, clearly, and with class. And fans could feel that. She wasn't whining. She wasn't trying to stir controversy. She was doing what she's always done, keeping it real. But that wasn't the end of the story, because the most shocking part of her contract wasn't the salary. It was something hidden deeper, a clause that made even seasoned analysts stop in their tracks. Just days before Caitlin Clark was drafted, another deal made headlines, and this one had a very different number attached. Nike locked her in with a multi-year endorsement deal reportedly worth $28 million. Not only that, she became one of the few women athletes in history to get her own signature shoe. That move said everything. Nike didn't just believe in Caitlin, they saw her as a global icon, a brand, a movement. So here's the contradiction that shook people. The company selling shoes with her name on them is treating her like a superstar, while the league she's playing in is paying her less than 6 figures a year. That disconnect lit a fire across social media. People weren't just upset, they felt insulted on her behalf. How could a league be riding the wave of her popularity, while handing her a contract that doesn't even reflect the most basic market value. And the wildest part, Caitlyn never even asked for sympathy. She acknowledged the reality and then challenged it. This isn't just about the WNBA. It's about corporate sponsorships, media coverage, and fan support. If we want salaries to go up, it has to be a full-circle effort. That line hit differently because Caitlyn wasn't just demanding change, she was mapping out how to make it happen. But just when fans thought they'd heard it all, another twist emerged. A clause buried in her contract, one that even surprised league insiders. Caitlyn Clark didn't have to say anything. She could have collected her paycheck, played her games, and stayed silent. But instead, she chose to speak not just for herself, but for every woman who's ever laced up a pair of sneakers and dreamed of more. Her message was simple but powerful. I love this league, I love my teammates, I love competing. But that doesn't mean we stop pushing for more because we all deserve more. That line wasn't just a quote, it was a challenge to the league, to the fans, to the sponsors, to all of us. She reminded everyone that this isn't just about contracts and numbers, it's about value, it's about respect. It's about building a future where the next generation of girls don't have to ask, why is it still like this? Since her comments went viral, there's been movement behind the scenes. League officials are reportedly reopening talks about accelerating the next collective bargaining agreement. Some believe Caitlyn's voice, and the way fans have rallied behind it, might be the push the WNBA needed to finally shift into a new era. And here's what makes it all so remarkable, she's just getting started. She's not even a full season in, and already she's changed the conversation. Not with anger, not with outrage, but with facts, purpose, and that relentless drive that made her a star since day one. The Indiana Fever haven't released an official statement, but behind the scenes, insiders say they're not just surprised by her boldness, they're proud of it. Because Caitlyn Clark isn't here to play it safe. She's here to play hard, to speak truth, and to change the game from the inside out. She's not just the face of the WNBA, she's the future of it. And if what we've seen so far is only the beginning, then the best is still to come.